What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be working on my buddy Danny's F-150, which is way too quiet right now. We're going to cut out the old muffler and a bunch of extra pipe that we don't need anymore. We're going to design and weld up a new system. I'm going to show you guys how I do it. I've been waiting to do this video for a long time, so I really hope you guys enjoy it. Check it out. The way I'm going to build this exhaust is the same way I would build any exhaust. I buy these fittings from basically any auto parts store, so you're able to get different elbows, 45s, 90s. It doesn't really matter. You're able to get these couplers, so you're able to put everything together, and there's two benefits to going this particular route. You're able to use a combination of old versus new pipe, but the biggest advantage is they slip together, so you're able to A, assemble everything before you weld it up, and B, you have more meat here, so when you do weld it up, you're a lot less likely to burn through. You get a much cleaner weld. Plus, you're able to get these in all different sizes. So if your tip and your muffler don't necessarily fit on your factory piping, you're able to make it work. In some pretty extreme examples, you're able to get things that aren't supposed to fit together just by buying these. And you can get them basically at any auto parts store. This is how I build all my exhaust systems, and it always works great. All right. So what's the idea here?
Possibly having it just like that.
Just tucking it in low pro like that?
Yeah.
I like the location there in front of the leaf perch. And if our spacing, I think that's about right.
Yeah.
We might be a little bit short, but I'll bet you we can use a straight section from back here, because there's going to be some straight back there. I think we can work that.
Yeah, because cutting it here, putting the muffler in at 45.
Yeah.
It'd probably be right pretty close.
Well, probably the 90, probably not the 45.
Yeah, 90.
Yeah, but no, that's good. I think that's a great idea. So you really want it real low pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'll be sick. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So Danny was just making a comment that this is a really short muffler, and while he is correct, the whole point of this isn't really for muffling. So the factory exhaust on basically all cars these days is really muffled already, basically from the catalytic converters. There's a whole lot of stuff that's resisting the flow of exhaust coming out. This is just to get rid of the rasp. So like the crackle that comes out of your exhaust. This gets rid of some of that, and in my opinion, it sounds the best. I've installed Flowmasters, MagnaFlows, all different kinds of exhaust. The knockoff stuff, these are my favorite. These 12-inch cherry bombs. This is 2.5-inch in and out. So you can see this muffler actually does have a bottom, so you have to get this orientation correct. They designed it this way so the smooth part, water can escape without getting inside of the actual glass, the fiberglass matting inside the muffler. So basically our plan here is to chop off the factory exhaust, weld this one on to right where the muffler is right now, put the 90 in there, and we're going to need a little piece of straight. We're going to take it out of the factory exhaust that's on there now, and then put the tip on. And these are bolt-on, but I don't really care for that. I don't like stuff moving around, so I'm just going to go ahead and weld this on. But I think we have a pretty good plan here, and it's obviously a really simple setup. So if we were to chop this exhaust basically exactly where the exhaust mount is, and put this up there, the spacing's almost perfect. We shouldn't need any extra pipe, except for to couple this to the tip. But I think this is a perfect, easy plan. All right. So Danny, do I have permission to start chopping up your truck?
Yes, you do.
All right, let's do it. Nice. Oh, good. We didn't have to cut it again. Oh yeah, not bad. Yeah, if you guys were wondering why this muffler is so much louder than the other one, there's a size comparison for you. It's a big difference. So basically what our plan is so far, we already know all the fittings that we need, and we know about the angles we want to put everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut the existing exhaust out. We're going to do all the layout and weld everything up before we install it. And I know a lot of you are thinking that's not how professionals do it. That is actually how professionals do it. If you were to get a custom, like a full MagnaFlow exhaust system that's all mandrel bent, the sections that you put in fit, and then you clamp it on. So, because the clamp actually crimps the two pipes together. If you took the clamp off, you still can't pull those pipes apart because they're crushing the pipes together to make the seal. If you were to have somebody weld that from underneath where they can't actually see, most welders are still gonna have gaps. It just takes a lot of skill and a lot of practice. So any naysayers who have issues with exhaust clamps, Ford seemed to think it was okay to use one. So if you were worried about it before, don't worry about it anymore. The only thing you got to remember is you really got to impact these down because it is actually squeezing the pipes together. So you need a lot of force to get it down, but obviously they work just fine. All right, so our exhaust is all mocked up. And if you go underneath, you can see that we haven't welded anything. It's all just sitting in place. And the plan behind that is, obviously we talked about it already, we're just gonna take it off, then weld it up, and we're gonna clamp it at the very back, right by that exhaust hanger right there. But before we do that, there's one thing we gotta try out. So we have all of our components. This is exactly the way it came out, and this is the orientation that we want it. So as our two-step verification, what we're gonna do is we're gonna tack everything down and double check the fitment. We wanna make sure this is right, because once we weld it, it ain't coming apart. Yeah, that's about perfect. Danny wanted low profile, and I think that's pretty low profile. So I get a ton of comments saying that you should take this little fake gas cup off the flux core welders because there's no gas. Well, that's correct. There is no shielding gas. I use this while I'm welding. I rest this on whatever I'm welding, and I walk the cup like I'm TIG welding. And if you try to do that without this, it'll ground your electrode out and it'll just not work. You won't be able to weld like that. So I actually use this to guide my welds and get more stable welds. So you can do whatever you want to do. You can even eat salt and vinegar chips if you want. But I'm going to leave this on. There's two things I really like about doing my own exhaust. The first is I can do it on my terms. I can do it however I want to do it. No input from anybody else. I really like that. The second, of course, is the cost. So my all-in cost for this project was about 85 bucks. If you want to put on a different type of muffler, it's usually going to cost you a little bit more, but you get to put on whatever you want, whatever you think sounds good, and you get to do it for way less than it would cost to have a shop do it. And that's why I like doing my own exhaust. Plus, it's just a fun project overall. So we have here good, cheap DIY exhaust from parts ordered online, a little bit of used stuff, and the cheapest welder you can buy. Should be able to put it in the truck. All right, so we got our trusty impact here, which is really essential for sending these home. And then once that's down, we're gonna weld this mount back onto this muffler because this is the same old mount we used before. Should work pretty well. So what do you think? You happy with how it sounds?
Yeah, it's a night and day difference.
Yeah. I like these engines a lot. I think they sound real good when you just let a little bit more out. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the video as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. That makes a big difference for me on the YouTube side of things. If you didn't, please leave a comment. Let me know what you didn't like. I know you're probably going to anyway. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer as many as I can. And thanks always for doing your part to help make this world a strange place.